Hey everyone, this is Spoony Bard. I recently watched both seasons of the Terra Formars anime, and I thought I'd cap it off by watching the live action movie. The movie came out in 2016 and it was directed by Takashi Miike. He's well known for directing Ichi the Killer as well as a lot of other stuff. After this movie, he also directed a live action JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This is based off the Bugs 2 arc from the manga. They eventually released a pair of OVAs that also covered the same story. On a personal note, this is actually the first live action adaptation of anime that I've seen. And spoiler, I actually kind of like it. The movie actually has pretty much the same background plot as the anime, which is due to global population, man looked to colonize Mars for additional space and resources. So they sent a shuttle with some kind of algae and a bunch of cockroaches to Mars, and the idea was the algae would help terraform the atmosphere and the cockroaches would spread the algae. So 500 years into the future, humanity's project to terraform Mars is complete. They launch a ship called Bugs 2, full of society's undesirables. These people are offered money and pardons for their crimes in exchange for this trip to Mars. They are being told that they need to kill all the bugs and that they are exposed to some kind of surgery in order to prepare their bodies for Mars environment. They get to Mars and immediately encounter large hostile aliens. They soon realize that the aliens are actually the cockroaches they were sent to kill, but somehow evolved. They are told that the surgery was to give them animal powers, and then they are given a serum which is designed to activate those powers. They end up traveling across Mars and finding a ship called Bugs 1. Instantly realizing that a ship called Bugs 2, plus the fact that they were given these abilities before they head to Mars, made them realize that Earth understood that the bugs were there all along. Two of the characters end up surviving and using an escape pod in Bugs 2 manage to make it back to Earth. These characters actually end up being important characters in the anime.
Bad idea.
To get the bad stuff out of the way, the movie feels rushed. It's just going from one event to the next, and there's very little moment for you to kind of catch your breath or reflect on what you just saw. I know this is common in a lot of movies that adapt stuff from comics or games or whatever. The character Hondo is absolutely ridiculous and it detracts from the tone of the film. Now, I haven't read the manga and I haven't seen the OVA. I don't know if this is actually how the character is portrayed in those stories or if this was just to bring some kind of entertainment factor to the movie. And to be honest, some of the transformed humans look like they came off the set of a Sentai or Power Rangers show.
Good idea.
After watching the show, I expected to be disappointed by this movie. To my surprise, it actually turned out the movie doesn't adapt the show that I've seen, which was, again, the Annex arc from the manga, but covers the preceding chapters, the Bugs 2 arc. Not being familiar with the storyline, it made it interesting to kind of see what led up to the point that I was familiar with. And also, not being familiar meant I had no point of reference, so I couldn't exactly be disappointed by the way something was translated. And I thought the effects looked cool, and there was always something to look at. I ended up liking this movie a lot more than I thought I would. It gave me a storyline that I wasn't familiar with, and it worked to enhance my appreciation of a show that I already like. While I would be interested to see how this movie compares to the OVAs covering the same subject matter, I feel that this movie has given me a good enough understanding of the storyline that I don't need to run out and track those down immediately. From my standpoint of somebody who's unfamiliar with the manga, has only seen the 2 seasons of the anime and none of the OVAs, I thought this was a pretty enjoyable movie. Again, it was also my first foray into live-action anime adaptations, and I know I've heard there's a big difference between the Netflix stuff and the actual Japanese stuff, but I was impressed. It was not as crappy as I thought. I'd love to know your thoughts on this movie, especially if you've seen those OVAs. I would also like to hear if there are any other live action anime movies worth watching. Just because I enjoyed this one, I'm thinking I'm going to check out the JoJo, but I'm unfamiliar with that particular storyline in the anime or the manga. So if you've seen that and you got any tips, whether I should just go in blind or whether I should try to at least watch the anime first, let me know in the comments. And anyways, I hope you're doing well, and we'll see you next time.